I was using Gemini to figure out why a door in my house wasn't working. I explained the problem and then I took a picture of the handle. This is not something I ever could have done on Google. So this is a new area of search. I don't know if at the end of this, I'm going to discover that I need to buy a new handle or I need to buy a new part. At that point, I'm going to go to Google. That becomes a mid or bottom of funnel search. But I'm at a new place of top of funnel that didn't even exist before, where I'm having a chat conversation with essentially Google. Many big websites are going to get themselves in trouble because they think AI is only the future, and then they're going to make massive basic SEO mistakes.
You say AI owns top of funnel and SEO wins mid funnel, bottom funnel. Where exactly do you draw the line between what should be invested in SEO versus GEO?
So first and foremost, I'm not sure that there is a GEO investment.
I also believe that people see the LLM as a shift from search to LLM, but actually cake is getting bigger. And it's not like people, they don't use Google anymore, is that they use Google plus they use OpenAI and Co. And so, of course, when you see the how the pie is divided between Google and blah blah blah, you see that Google is maybe losing some market share, but it's not like they're actually losing in terms of value the number of queries per day. It's like, yeah, we've got more queries, but they're going to OpenAI and other LLMs.
Exactly. And if you think about it, there are many queries that Google wasn't a good solution for. So going back, let's say 4 years before ChatGPT existed, everyone thought Google was dead because of TikTok. They're like, no one's going to Google anymore. They're only going to go on TikTok. And TikTok satisfied an area of search that Google couldn't. So if you were looking for restaurant reviews that were video or emotional, like that was more than just let me read opinions of people write it on Google Places, TikTok was a solution for that. If you wanted to see a trip plan, someone, went on a trip, Google was probably not the best solution unless you wanted to use Google to find travel blogs, but you went to TikTok. Now what we see is LLMs actually do things that Google could not do. So I was using Gemini. So that's my favorite LLM because I have an Android and it's built in, but I do have subscriptions to all them. I was using Gemini to figure out why a door in my house wasn't working. So I explained the problem and then I took a picture of the handle. And then Gemini gave me an answer. And I said, I don't think this answer makes sense. And I took another picture of another angle. This is not something I ever could have done on Google. I would have gone on Google, found a website. Maybe someone had exactly the same situation I did. And they were kind enough to write something in a forum about how they had this problem. They dealt with the problem. And then I'd probably try to copy that solution and discover it wasn't the right thing. So this is a new area of search. Now, I don't know. I'm not done with this yet because it takes a long time to go back and forth. But I don't know if at the end of this, I'm going to discover that I need to buy a new handle or I need to buy a new part. At that point, I'm going to go to Google. That becomes a mid or bottom of funnel search that probably I might have ended up down the road anyways after getting frustrated. But I'm at a new place of top of funnel that didn't even exist before, where I'm having a chat conversation with essentially Google.
Yeah. So perfect transition. I wanted to say, I read that you say AI owns top of funnel and SEO wins mid funnel, bottom funnel. With AI overviews, and especially AI overviews on Google expanding into the mid funnel, where exactly do you draw the line between what should be invested in SEO versus GEO?
So first and foremost, I'm not sure that there is a GEO investment and that it's a real thing. I would continue to always invest in SEO. I'd say like most websites, actually many big websites are going to get themselves in trouble because they think AI is only the future and then they're going to make massive basic SEO mistakes like subdomains and directories and like typical technical SEO that should have been structured. Like I don't think many websites necessarily need technical SEO help after they're already getting traffic, but you definitely need technical SEO help when you're setting up a website. So if they think they don't need that anymore, they're going to get themselves in trouble. Now, the way I would approach this from a top of funnel standpoint is you would imagine, let's say in the health space, someone wants to understand if they are experiencing a health issue or they're experiencing, let's say, anxiety. That's likely going to belong to AI overviews or an LLM. So someone will describe their symptoms and then the LLM will say, oh, you need more sleep. Now, that there are many, many blog posts that will say you need more sleep. There are many, many blog posts that will say, here's people that are experiencing this sort of health issue. But that's not necessarily a fit anymore for those blog posts because the LLM, or Google especially, will take the top of the page and just give you the answer. When we think about what happens after that, so there was a company I worked with where they had a mental health solution. So their mental health solution was therapy, and it's a solution for anxiety. So now, if you think about people experiencing anxiety, there are many, many ways they can solve, well, not solve, but address their anxiety. They could meditate. They could listen to calming music. They could take drugs. They could take illegal drugs. They could go to therapy. They could do a lot of things. But this company that I consulted for only offered therapy as a solution. So, bottom of funnel for them is the word therapy or the location where they could provide therapy. The super top of funnel for them is anxiety. That doesn't exist anymore. Someone's now going to search their either the word anxiety because someone says, "Oh, you sound like you have anxiety." So now they go into Google and they search anxiety, and AI overviews will tell them what they have, that they have anxiety or they don't. Or they now have they have symptoms. They say, I'm restless. I can't sleep at night. My mind is constantly racing. Those are top of funnel words. Again, AI overview or AI mode, which is likely going to expand further, is now going to say it sounds like you have anxiety, and it will bring them to a lower point in the funnel. That lower point in the funnel will now say, well, people with feelings like yours could meditate. Here's a meditation website. They could listen to music. Here's YouTube, of course, because Google only recommends YouTube, or here's therapy. So now this person might say, well, it sounds like I'd like to explore therapy. And then if we go to mid funnel, which is therapy for anxiety. That's now the mid funnel query. So what I recommended for this company is they focus on this very specific mid funnel because the top of funnel now will always belong to the AI, whether it's AI reviews or LLM. The mid funnel, which is therapy for the solution, that's the only people they can address. Even more than that, if you think about the way a lot of websites have tried to do SEO in the past, it's kind of like bait and switch, where they get you in on one thing. They say, well, if you have anxiety, here's our page about meditation for anxiety, but they don't monetize meditation. Their whole point in this page is they want you to Google it, land on it, and then they can say, meditation sucks. You want to use therapy, right? So, like, that's not a thing anymore. We're now in a world where the LLMs are going to make sure, and Google are going to make sure you get to exactly what you need. So that's the mid funnel. And that's the way I would think about it is like, is this a quick answer that AI could answer? If AI could answer, even if it doesn't answer today, it probably will be the answer. So don't build for it.